All right, guys, welcome to my third episode of this channel. I got some guests with me. Today's talk would be something that I think all of us go through, or we at some point in our lives, relationship problems, and dating in like 2021 is different.
It's
It's
weird.
complete. Oh,
It's
dude,
weird.
it's so. I'm gonna give the panelists a chance to introduce themselves and tell us about where they're from, how long they've been living in LA, and two interesting things about you that people might not know. So I'll start with my friend over here.
All right. I'm Elijah Chandler. I'm born and raised South Central LA. Lived here forever. Traveled around a bit. Recently came back. Started working in the film industry.
Okay.
Two interesting things. I'm a nationally registered EMT, and work on the ambulance in free time. And the second thing is I have a bachelor's of science in hydrogeology.
Dope, dope. Ashley.
Hey, my name is Ashley Aguilar. I'm from the real LA, Louisiana. I'm from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, which is the crawfish capital of the world. So if you like crawfish, that's literally my people. Two interesting facts about myself. I've been in LA almost 7 years. My main occupation, I'm an actress. Let's see, interesting things. Licensed practitioner and bachelor's of science with a concentration in quantum physics.
Hey.
What about your
We
business?
lit.
What about that business you do though? Your own personal business.
Yes, so I have two companies. One of them is Tesla Body Scan. So it's a quantum biofeedback company where like people send hair, saliva, or blood samples, and we basically send them reports using this device that's out of Buchen, Germany. That's pretty dope. And then a marketing agency, Ready for Marketing.
And we're gonna post that at the end of this so people can go and give my girl Ashley some business. All right, dope. About me, most of the audience probably knows that's already subscribed to the channel. I'm Peter John Minto. I am Jamaican. Interesting fact about myself: I was raised on a farm, cows and goats and sheep. I'm a cowboy. I know how to wrangle cows. I know how to do everything for myself like that. I can also plant crops and stuff. My dad taught me that stuff. So big old shout out to daddy. Daddy big of himself. And also I can't swim. I said this before, and I am just another stereotype. I really
Well, you don't have to swim much on the ranch. So
no, but I'm on an island and we're surrounded by ocean, so I live 5 minutes from the beach and I really can't swim. But I'm working on that. I am working on that for sure. So let's jump into this, guys. I'm gonna start out by asking you guys three things. What are the top three things you look for in an ideal partner? And give me an example of that ideal partner.
I'd say, let's see, like strong, like founding principles. Like a lot of people talk about like boundaries and morals, and it's usually something that's not like a grounded thing or a strict thing. It's something that can be swayed based on like circumstance or who they're with, and they always change their mind. But like someone who's just founded on something, whether that conveniences me or not, like he just says this is this and he means that. So like a man of his word.
Oh, okay.
And that's founded on principles. That's one. A sense of humor. I laugh 24/7. Sense of humor. And emotional intelligence. Like he has to understand that, especially depending on how old he is, our entire lives before meeting each other, like we've been completely different people. So we're gonna have different perspectives. So we're gonna like talk through things versus just like blame game and like
and
just judging each other
reactionary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that can definitely lead to some serious problems. And give me an example of your ideal type. It could be a celebrity. It could be anything. Just let me know.
Let's see. All my ideal types is gonna be aesthetically based
right.
Let's know. Let's know what you're looking for.
because I don't do relationship goals with celebs.
Okay.
But
Okay.
let's see. It's tough. Ben Hardy.
Ben. Okay.
That's a heavy hitter. Probably top two. Quincy.
Which one?
P Diddy's son,
I
aesthetically.
mean, older.
Okay.
Drake.
Okay.
Okay.
Or Lyric Bent.
Lurk Bent.
He's the actor from She's Gotta Have It and Acrimony.
Right. Right.
Oh, my God.
So you've thought about this?
Oh,
Okay.
It's like in the back of her.
It's a clear list.
She,
It's a very clear
what it's all
list.
about. Like she knows what she wants. And my brother, what about you?
For me, I think communication is huge.
Big.
Somebody that can convey how they're feeling and things that the direction they want to go. Passion is a huge one. I want them to be passionate about, life itself or something that they're going towards, something that drives them. You can just see that fire in their eyes. And the third thing I'd say is adventurous. I want to be able to take on anything that the world has. I want to travel. I want to be anywhere, be anyone, and just, have somebody like I want a partner,
Right.
I'd say my ideal. Rihanna's always been up there. Rihanna's fantastic. I think we would definitely get into some trouble together. So
nice.
just in case, if you're wondering, Rihanna. I like Chloe Bailey actually. She's incredibly passionate and very talented, and yeah, that's all I can think about for right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really care for celebrities that much. I don't, but those are a couple that seem like real people.
Right. That's dope. Another question that follows up right that is what do you guys have to offer to your ideal types, or the things you're looking for in that person that will make them ideal? What do you think you can offer that person? I think that's so important because a lot of times we have all these things listed out that we want in a person, but what are we going to offer this person when they show up? Because if you really don't have nothing to offer, they're going to just walk past you because they don't see what they're looking for in you. So,
I mean, honestly, I feel, if you don't mind me.
Oh, you got that.
I feel that I am a great communicator. I feel like I am very passionate about a lot of things, big and small sometimes. I can go too far, but I feel like having that fire inside of you, is so important. And I think my whole life is an adventure. If you knew my story or just spent some time around me, you're going to feel like you're on a ride. And where that ride's going, shit. That's a part of the adventure for me. I feel like, writing the page as you go, because everything in this society, in this world is so set in stone, and it's all, okay, we get married, we do this, and we follow these steps. And when you're with me, it's like you walk into another world and possibilities become infinite, and that's...
Right, so in essence, you're saying there's not necessarily a real goal when you're with somebody because the possibilities are endless and you don't really mark out these things.
Well, not a goal when you're with the person, like getting married or whatnot,
right.
But more so it's just a partnership. It's like what do you have? What goals do you have for your best friend?
Right.
You simply enjoy that person, you experience with that person, and you live life with that person.
Right.
Instead of trying to reach some type of definite end.
Oh, okay.
And those best friends are the people that are with you forever. So if we really approached it with that idea, then maybe these relationships will last longer.
Right. That's a solid point.
Snaps to that.
Ashley?
Oh, what do I bring to the table? Lord, the question of the century. I think I'm like a really good hybrid of like someone who like has a lot of modern advantages, like in terms of like when they say modern women, like in terms of what I bring to the table with intellect and like work, my drive. But I think because of like my foundation, I'm very family oriented. I'm the oldest of 6. My mom's a single mom, so I just naturally have this nurturing instinct where a lot of the things that I follow are really traditional. So it's like, okay, I am that traditional partner. Like I cook, like you already know, everything from everything from scratch. Very nurturing, very loving, and can take that feminine role. But at the same time, we are in modern times where you might require something different from your partner, or like I'm really big on like partnership. So instead of, okay, I bring this set thing to the table, I look at what you have. I look at, okay, you can be vulnerable about like certain weaknesses.
Right.
And then we can see where we're complementary without it being like, like a gender war, like you feeling like, oh, I'm emasculating you because maybe I'm maybe I'm out earning,
Right.
or maybe
That's a huge thing as well.
I'm more analytical because I tend to I'm left brained as it pertains to business.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm not gonna make you feel like, oh, you're less intelligent just because I'm more left brained, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm out earning you, so I'm more this, I'm a better provider. Like none of that.
Well,
So I
that's
feel
dope.
like that's like a healthy balance, because going full traditional in this day and age
Can
doesn't
be a
seem-
problem.
Yeah,
Wow.
it looks like people getting walked over in these streets.
Right.
Right. Do you think we're too idealistic in our expectations of people?
Some people.
In regards, like we want these things, and
If we don't get them, then
right.
there's
We
a
don't get
problem.
them. It is a problem, and are we asking for things that are sometimes beyond just the complexities of a human being? Because we all come with faults, and they might have this but not have that. Are we willing? Do you think sometimes we're willing to not sit back and accept a person for who they are, and work with that?
I feel like, and this is something I've been dealing with recently actually, is I feel like sometimes we look for the ideal traits we want
Right.
in the wrong person.
Mm.
And so that could be because of like religious backgrounds, upbringing, where you come from, age differences, just even like if you're from grow up in poverty and they were affluent, they never had to struggle. It's like we want to have these things, like I said, communication and passion and adventurous, but a person that was raised in South Central is going to communicate differently than a person that
Big
was
time.
raised inside of the
Big
suburbs.
time.
And so you have to really take that into account when you're looking for your partner and say, okay, understand where they come from, and is this somebody that can understand where I come from? And then we see if those ideals are there.
And that happens to me too, because I'm from a third world country. I'm from a very rural part of Jamaica, and like I grew up around cows and goats and stuff. So what happened to me, or what shaped me, is that I know when to make trivial things trivial and keep it there, and not to blow things out of proportion. So if I'm with a girl and we're at a store buying coffee or whatever, and she complain about the milk and complain about these things and other things like that, which I think is kind of trivial. If you don't have any allergic reaction to any food, like people can make mistakes who are serving you food. And if you're gonna make that's a huge problem to me. That's already a huge turnoff, because I think there are bigger things in life than those simple things.
Right.
And the ability to separate that from what really matters, it's like it can be a huge turnoff. That's just my personal opinion. It just can be a huge turnoff, and that's because we come from different backgrounds. I'm always willing to just learn what makes a person go, and learn what their background is, and work with that. That's just who I am as a person. So that I just wanted to say that. I just want to say that. And Ashley, what do you want to say about this?
About what in particular?
Are we too idealistic in our expectations?
I think there's a certain demographic online right now that is, and I just want to make this distinction between like real life and social media, because in real life I encounter like amazing men, and like the people that I attract, like I have this great, like it's subconscious, but it's like this filtration system. Clowns just do not.
They don't come. They don't.
Right.
Come.
So I never have the reality that men ain't nothing, because like I attract like really good men, and I gotta give it to y'all. Like y'all are definitely out there, but on social media it is a whole nother world. It's like I have to unplug from that. It's like this demographic of people, and of course I'm getting on the guys because I'm a woman, so I'm giving my
Absolutely.
perspective. I feel like y'all are so idealistic, and it's not like realistic with like you're not complimentary to what you claim you want. Like I want
Explain.
this, I want this aesthetic, right? But at the same time I want it to be like very traditional. It seems like there's so many boxes to check off
For men, when they
that women have to check off. Like you need to be like this, but not too much of this. So for example, I feel like when I go online, it's like be like a Proverbs 31 type of woman. Like you need to be very like wholesome and like traditional and like your grandmother. Don't adhere to this new modern time and feminism and this, that, and the third. However, your men are giving themselves the full freedom to have evolved and to be like impacted by modern changes like social media. The fact that y'all are presented with so much sexual content on a regular basis, men give themselves the freedom to feel liberated and say, I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship, or I may be interested in polygamy, or like men are very visual creatures, which is like heightened by social media. Like you give yourself the freedom to have change, but I'm still supposed to be this idealistic woman from like 1950s who also doesn't have a sex drive, and who also only wants one person for life, and who like.
So are you saying you probably don't subscribe to these things, in a sense?
No, some of the things I actually do subscribe to.
Okay.
I'm definitely not. I don't identify as. That's not even safe to really say.
Okay,
Right
no,
now.
it's okay.
But
You
no-
don't want to go there. I get
I
it.
could kind of touch on that.
Oh,
if-
Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So my thought process behind that is, okay, so we go on social media and we see these things like sex is just plastered everywhere. It's constant, and women are doing more and more, becoming more and more provocative, and on these platforms, you know, and now they're using to like make money and sell themselves essentially on these other platforms. And so you have, oh, well, you're telling me to cover up, and you're telling me to be reserved, but I see you liking all these pictures of girls that aren't doing that. So do you like that, or do you like this? And the thing is, like you can have your that materialistic nature and those very primitive feelings about certain things because it's being plastered everywhere. And so you can see something and be like, oh wow, like if you just see like food everywhere, like delicious food, you're gonna want to look at it and touch it because
Try
it's
some of the
there,
food.
because it's
Yeah,
there,
because
right?
it's there, right? Yeah.
Right, but for something that you actually want, you know, you can look at all the burgers and fries everywhere, but when you go home, what's in your refrigerator? You feel me? Like you're gonna have your fruits, your vegetables, your steak. So you want to actually have with you. You take home something that isn't for everybody. Everybody's gonna be out there. You don't want, or at least me personally, I don't want the woman that the whole world has already seen half naked.
Right.
Thanks.
Like I don't, and the same thing goes for me. You know, I don't want to put myself out there because I want it to be special for you. I want it to be special for us, and so I can like, you know, sex and how people look. You know, you listed like 6 different men that you found very attractive, right? And that's fine to find them attractive, but also you don't want someone that's just for everybody. If everyone has access to that, then it's no longer cool. Because how many other girls are going to say, oh, I like Quincy. Yeah, Quincy's fire, and probably do all this stuff. But
let me ask you this. You're talking specifically to someone that's visible, right? Like she's on social media and everyone can see
right.
it. But what if she's not on social media, but, you know, she has this long history of, like, having sex with multiple men, or she probably was once, you know, she sold her body or something. Do you take that into account?
Your past is your past.
Right.
Who you are today is what defines you. It's like each chapter of the story makes up the story, but it's how the story ends. Right. And you can have a past. We've all made mistakes, you know. I'm actually the youngest of 6 children, and so I have 4 older sisters, and you know, a ton of things have happened in their lives, and these are the strongest, most beautiful people I know.
Right.
And it's like if they're beginning to find who they were today, then they would not be anywhere at all. And so I can't take that into account out of respect for my sisters, my mother.
Right.
I've also been. I can't look at your past and have that say, okay, well that's who you are.
Right. So you're speaking specifically who this person is today.
Right.
How you would choose them, whatever they're doing on social media. This is what you're looking on because that's what they're doing now.
Right, because I want to grow with someone. And so when you look at a company, you look at a person, a friend, you look at what they're bringing to the table today. You know, you go watch Shark Tank. They're like, well, where's the company at today?
Right.
I want to see the numbers right now.
Yeah, they always say
right?
that.
And so it's like if you don't have anything to bring to the table today except for your body, I literally can go on social media and I can see a million of those.
Right.
See a million bodies. But what else is there?
Right. The spiritual, physical, and mental aspects of as a human being, because we live in those 3 forms, you know, and so you have to be holistic and in those 3 forms and bring that to the table. I think some of us, we focus a lot on the physical and not the spiritual and mental and all that other aspects of a human being.
Well, they want us to. They don't want us to be spiritual beings.
Right. And there's something to be said about being spiritual, man. It is so powerful. And I've listened to some women talk about just like other guys in the bedroom. That's because I do Lyft and I did Uber for a little bit. So you would hear these women come in the car and they would talk. They don't care.
Right, you're not even there.
They're just talking like how they feel, and they would always talk about like how they just wasn't feeling it, and yeah, the size was good, and but they always talk about that feeling. So there's something to be said about the spiritual aspect of someone when they meet you, and I think we don't focus on that, and we need to get back to that. I think that I don't know, like I feel like the 60s and way back in the day, they were probably more like that. I don't know, I get that vibe from that era. Like they were more spiritually grounded. I just get that vibe. I don't know why. I could be wrong. I don't know the stats on that, but I think we need to always go back to that level of that spiritual aspect. I'm deep on that. I'm always about like feeling and having what's the vibe with this girl and what's her moral values and stuff like that. So what you said is super important, man.
Facts. And I just want to quickly piggyback off of the accessibility comments because I'm with that 5,000,000%. And I feel the same way. I take into account like my future husband all the time. Like when it comes to like, being in spaces and like especially not being in spaces, working on jobs and like having like mutuals, meeting people who like have notoriety. Oh, you're a celebrity already. Not associating yourself or not dating, not accepting dates from people where it's like, okay, if you step out, it could look like I'm affiliated with you because I'm thinking of, okay, my future husband. I don't want him to even feel like when he steps out with me that, he might be in a space where multiple people
might be like,
have like even touched me. And I'm very particular as well because I think about that all the time. But as it pertains to social media, I think a lot of guys, at the end of the day, I feel like you can't compartmentalize your social interactions from your real life desires. I think guys try to do this thing where they're like, oh, I can like this, but
that's
really the type of woman that I'm really into is this, but I can like this. And I think they're setting themselves up to be like very miserable like at the end of the day because that I don't think you can truly compartmentalize. Like if you're sitting there liking pictures, someone's in a thong, like their nipples are literally out. You could really see their like vaginal print at this point. Like there's a lot of content like that on social media. If you're in those likes,
camel toe.
Right. There's one thing to see that and keep scrolling, right? But you're in the likes, you're in the comments, you follow that content. I cannot take any man seriously who follows those types. If they follow those types of pages, I don't care what they say they would date or what their ideal wife is like. You follow those pages.
So what would you say about someone that watches porn?
Well, here's the thing. Following the pages, because I'm big, especially like in this industry, but traditionally I'm very big on legacy, and legacy has something to do with visibility and the family front, right?
So you care about what's being seen in the public.
1,000,000%, because here's the thing. Social media, people try to act like it's different from real life, but here's how I see it, right? You see a sexy picture of this girl in a thong, you see like huge ass, right? In real life, huge ass might walk by. You say, okay, you see it, boom, it keeps going, or you keep scrolling. That's an equivalent interaction to me. You you click like, you're setting for the algorithm to show you that content again or to show you similar types of things. You're just showing, I like that. So in real life, that might be like a damn.
So you don't want them to look at the big booties in public?
No, they can look at the big booties, but I'm just saying, okay, you comment. That's the equivalent to saying, damn, hey, shorty, you want to be seen at this point.
Okay.
And then follow it.
The commenting is like absolutely crossing the line.
Commenting is crossing the line, and then once you follow, that's the equivalent of, I want to see you again. I'm following you. I want to see your content again. In real life, that's getting the digits.
If you're dating a guy and he likes someone's photo on social media of a girl twerking that he probably doesn't know, but he just likes it, and then he comments on it, that's a huge disrespect to you.
I'm probably not dating that guy because there are certain things in his personality that already showed. He's not. No, guys really aren't honest with themselves. Like, it's not that he's trash. It's just that you're not as intentional as you're claiming. So if a guy's in that stage, I just be cool, be honest. You're in that stage. I might be in that stage with you. Maybe you could just be a sneaky link, quote unquote sneaky link era. Be real about where you are, but don't be liking that content. You're not engaging with that content and following those type of pages while intentionally looking for your wife. I don't care. I've not found one person to be the exception to that rule. You're not as intentional as you think. So just don't claim that you're looking for this.
But what I'm saying though, someone there's always an exception to the rule, and someone might not like it out publicly, but they do behind the scenes, and they're doing the same thing.
If the person's doing the same behind the scenes, that's gonna end up showing in their character
At some
anyway.
point. I see.
But since we are like talking about like social media,
Right.
in that instance, I don't think you can have your cake and eat it too that way. You can
Right.
still like that, but like to like and comment, it's like.
It's,
I mean,
right.
I can speak to that
Right.
because I used to follow a bunch of pages
Mhm.
because it was like, you know, I'm running around, I'm in that scene, I want to, you know, whatever. But I could tell you that I would notice trends and I pay attention to myself a lot, and I would notice what doing that would influence. And so
Right.
you would notice that, like when I would stop or I'm not on Instagram, I'm not looking at porn as much, and it's because I'm not seeing ass and titties in my face all day, so I'm not thinking about how I can
Right.
access that, or can I go talk to this person, or I'm not
Right,
reaching
right,
out to
right.
people as much.
Right.
And so, like currently, I don't really follow any of those pages. I stopped following all those like girl pages and like any models or people that are just doing that provocative stuff. And you know, in conjunction with that, any of those joke pages that are just like, you know, way too much or doing too much, because I just wanted to kind of monitor what I was feeding my soul with,
Right,
and just
right.
see how that would affect. And so I believe that's right. I think if you are doing that constantly, if you're still following like all these pages,
Right.
to see that on a consistent basis, because we're on these phones all day. It's like that girl walking down the street. That's like, you know,
Right.
once or twice a day maybe. This is like
I know it's
hundreds of
so funny,
times.
people don't recognize that those little things contribute to your holistic self.
Right.
And it plays with the real life relationship that you have right now. And then you wonder why you have so many problems in your relationship. Sometimes it's just little things that's just rubbing you wrong, and you're over there creating that you know, like that clam with that pearl, you know, even though it doesn't become a pearl.
Right,
But
right,
you're
right.
creating something. You're creating something, and it begins to manifest itself. And if you're not, whatever you feed yourself with does manifest subconsciously. And even in your sleep and dreams and stuff like that, it's still affecting you. And you have to be able to see that and be able to cut it off. And so that's for me, instance, I've kind of come off Instagram, and I don't really be on it a little bit because I see how it's definitely influencing my thoughts and my actions. And I don't want that per se. And you have to be careful of that. It's so, like, you have to be careful. You have to be careful.
And not following those types of pages, like
Right.
the Justin LeBoy, like the Shade Room.
Right.
I noticed, like,
Oh, you don't follow those things?
no, because
Right,
it's like
same.
I can't, because then that becomes your reality. Like, a lot of people are having relationship issues that's not even their reality. Like, remember before I said there's real life, and I noticed that the men around me are amazing men, and I
Right.
constantly encounter amazing men. If you start following those pages, you really start thinking men are really trash right now, or like women are
Right.
like wilding, like
'Cause that's
it
all
looks
they
crazy.
promote, and
that's
that's all
all
they-
they promote.
right,
So it's
right,
like
right,
good to
right.
separate. Okay, that's not my reality.
Right.
That's a lot of y'all reality, which is why like the divorce rate gonna be crazy. The you know, mental illness. I'm gonna let y'all participate in
Right.
that, but I'm just gonna.
Stay off and feed yourself with what's
Yeah.
positive and necessary. Great. Do you believe in roles in relationship?
What
Do you
type
believe
of-
in roles in your relationship, like
gender roles?
gender roles and stuff like that?
I definitely do. I
Really?
definitely do. Yeah.
Could you explain exactly what you mean? Because I don't want people to get confused out there.
As someone, and I've shared this with you, and like won't go into detail, but like as someone who comes from a situation where my dad and I didn't have a relationship till I was like 19,
Right.
and I've had other like like childhood traumas, sexual like traumas, and like abuses like as a minor that really messed with my femininity. And when I really found my femininity and came in contact with that, it's like that's a really important thing. And that cannot be maintained. Like, femininity is a tango. It's not just I present myself this way. It's also someone creating that space
For you to be
exactly
feminine.
If we have if we have the same roles, I am not going to be able to sit back in that femininity.
right.
And
right.
I've experienced that in like relationships where it's like, oh, this is what that feels like.
So a strong man, decisive man.
I like someone. The most important thing is a man of his word, because
Right.
I noticed, and I admitted it, the times where I felt like I was emasculating or I just lost respect, because that's the foundation. I immediately lose respect, like when a man, like whether he gives an ultimatum that he doesn't follow through on, or he just says things like fickle things that aren't intentional, like he doesn't mean, and he just doesn't follow up on his word.
Right.
Immediately in my head, I'm just like, clown, don't respect.
Right.
And I'm thinking, like, what does that look like when we have children?
Right.
What kind of children are we gonna raise if you're someone like you don't even mean what you say?
Right. Sometimes we don't even realize how far women think sometimes.
Right. It's like, hold on, my nigga. Let me.
I always think children.
I ain't taking shit back.
They think like you're 3,000.
My kids gonna be some bitches if I don't keep my word. Hold on.
I'm telling you, man, women are thinking so far.
The kids gonna be some bitches.
So do you believe that men should take the lead and be more decisive in relationships? By the way, I didn't ask you. What do you think about gender roles in
Oh yeah, I agree.
Right.
Like I know toxic masculinity is a wonderful word people like to use these days.
Right.
But in my opinion, like we were put here to have certain roles. Like it's okay to be a leader. It's okay to follow someone. Like the best teachers are one students, and I feel like if we're gonna be a partnership, like you're gonna recognize that okay, this is like a 6'3" big black man, and if you're gonna like love me and you trust me, then if we're gonna go somewhere, like I expect you to trust that I'm gonna do what's in our best intention. Like imagine yelling duck to somebody and they turn to you and say why?
Because you said it.
Right.
Because you said duck.
Right.
It's like listen to you.
And now we both dead. It's like, and that's how it's like in my life, in my mind, I think of things like I take it that far. You know, I feel like if I can't trust you to follow me, and trust me as a leader, then what's gonna happen when it's really serious?
And life is a balance. I think life is a balance. There are instances where even though someone can be a strong leader, there's gonna be cases where your partner is better at something, and so they can lead out.
Right. And
you
that's totally fine.
And that's fine. But you have these cases where someone tries to dominate at all times, whichever partner it is, and I think that's what creates the imbalance, and that's why we feel like gender roles are not even possible these days. Because there's somewhat of an imbalance that's happening. Someone is trying too much to dominate the other person. But we need to find that right balance and respect. That respect for each other. Like I know like my girl can definitely run certain things. I don't even try to like she's so good at these things. You know what I'm saying? I don't even try because she's just good at these things. And so you have to respect that. You just have to respect that. To me, it's so easy. I don't need to think too much about it.
Right.
But I just think like that's what works. That's that balance in life. Just that balance in life. Anything else you guys want to add to that, or no? It's all good.
Yeah, that was it on that one for me.
No, that's good. That's good.
So it brings me to our next question. How do you feel about the Me Too movement? Do you think it is a balance? Do you think it is somewhat affecting the confidence and the masculinity in men? Do you think there's an offset of the Me Too movement?
The Me Too movement hasn't really affected me personally.
Okay.
In my mind, it's like you're trying to tell people not to assault you,
right?
And to give people like boundaries and make sure
right.
consent is good. I know it has presented opportunity for people to take advantage of that and accuse people and do all types of things. But I think the movement in itself, like its basis, is founded on trying to give women a voice.
Equality.
And just make sure that if something's happening to them, then they're being heard and they're being listened to.
The reason I bring this up because this is a usual like this is a dominant thing that many say about the Me Too movement. I've heard it on so many media outlets that the Me Too movement is affecting the modern day man's masculinity.
I don't know about the confidence. I'm trying to figure out that part. I know that just in general, I think social media has affected way further than just the Me Too movement because you go to the club, you go anywhere these days, women, they're on their phones, they're trying to be that projected image they have on social media, and so they're not very approachable. They're not you can't really do things, and then men are shy because they don't want to get rejected and then end up on somebody's story. So I think social media has a lot more to do with
The divide.
Right, the divide and
between-
the loss of confidence is because you
Right.
don't want to be somebody's joke. You don't want to be somebody's
Or
public display.
You don't want to be that person that might be considered to be a sexual abuser.
Right.
You
You're
know,
doing too
that's
pushy. You're
that's
doing
a
too
huge-
much.
Yeah, that's a huge thing right now. Man, when I'm walking out there, I stay 6 feet. Well, we have to stay 6 feet apart. But I'm very careful in my space when I'm around women these days because I don't want at any point for anyone to say that I did that. Even though most people know that I'm not like that. They know my personality, they know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that thing to come off in the wrong way at any point. I make sure I don't run certain jokes. I make sure I do what is right just to respect women, you know. And I've always been an advocate of respecting women, you know. You have anything to say about that, Ashley?
Yeah, I personally,
Yeah.
the Me Too movement, I haven't found any like foundational issues with,
Right.
just because it just really seemed like people were trying to avoid sexual abuse, and that's like
Right.
something, you know, I'm like passionate about, just because, like I said, as a minor, like I've had unfortunate things happen. My only issue is that it seemed to start getting piggyback. Like people, you know, they take advantage of like these hashtags just for clout for themselves.
Oh, okay.
And then all of a sudden, Me Too became about very fickle things where, like, you're sitting there and you may have experienced, like, serious issues as a minor, like, just blatant violation, right? And then someone's equating a catcall to, like, a 10-year-old getting raped. And then, like, putting that in the same category,
wow.
I feel like made people start dismissing the entire movement when it had, like, validity and it stood for something strong.
Right,
Now guys
right.
are going around thinking, and I think it's like half the men are like really like genuinely concerned because they're like, okay, because a woman who had like a general cat call happen where a guy just expressing interest, saying hey beautiful, says oh my god, and then making that about the Me Too movement, it's like, okay, a guy being attracted to you and expressing that isn't necessarily a cat call, and now you're making people think that that's a form of sexual harassment. Yes, a guy may feel like, oh shit, what can I say, what can I do, right? Even when I go on set now, when they mic me up, ever since like the movement started becoming a big thing, they'll hand it to me now. It used to be they slide it down your shirt and do the third. They hand it to me. I always have to do my own mic.
Right.
Things do change. But then there's another half of guys where it's like, I don't know if it's like a hotep, it's like part hotep community. I hate misusing that word, but it's like when I say that, people know what community I'm talking about.
Right.
It's like,
What is that though?
it's like this community of people. They're like some of them are just misogynist, and they're just not admitting that, like, wow, you're just a shitty human being, and you're not taking accountability for who you're being. Like you have bad ways that you treat women, talk to women and demean women, and just because you don't have a certain financial status, you think by default you're a good guy. No, you're just like a misogynist who doesn't have like the financial way to like exercise your misogyny yet. But it's like, it's these guys who, they're just shitty people, and like they look for ways to minimize anything a woman's saying, so they're like exaggerating it. They know that people are getting raped, they know that child abuse is a thing, and that these are issues we should address, but then they're like,
so you just oppose it just because.
Yes, and they're like, oh my god, the Me Too movement, I'm scared to walk outside. I'm like, no dude, you're actually a dick. You're someone who you do things that are problematic already.
And what the Me Too movement, I think, is about is bringing light to make men more cautious, in a sense, of how their actions impact a woman. You know, so we can take it like that, or we can take it to be like, okay, it's affecting my masculinity. I can't, you know, it depends on your perspective on how you see it.
It's necessary. I was just in Vegas 2.5 weeks ago, and this guy grabbed my ass. Like, literally, he looked at me and asked me, and he's like, oh, hey, you got a man? And I'm like, yeah, and I lied. I wasn't with anyone, but I just, you know, I was like, oh, yeah, I have a boyfriend, but thank you. I always try to decline nicely because I've been on the other end of that. Like, I've experienced certain things where it's like, I got to gauge the situation. I'm looking at him. He's super tall. I'm like, I'm not about to come at you, like, get away or anything like that, because I don't know what type of temperament this guy may have. So I'm like, oh, no, thank you, I'm good. This dude straight up grabs my ass. And the most messed up part about it is, like, you don't know what to do because it's like, I'm not about to call the police or authority because I don't know how that could end for you. If they do that because you're black. But at the same time, I feel violated, and now you just triggered something from,
were there
like, my
people
childhood.
around that saw that?
Yeah, we were in the casino.
And nobody did nothing
but
to
that's,
like...
But Me Too is telling people, like, okay, here's certain things, like, we're uncomfortable with. Like, something like that would be like, yo, y'all cannot do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of guys do that. You go to a club, you go somewhere, people just take it upon themselves to, like, grab your extremities. And that needs to be called out. But I don't think you have that problem. I don't think people are like, oh, Peter John.
No.
You come off as very respectful.
You don't grab ass in the casinos.
No,
Casino.
definitely not, man.
Well, we cleared that up.
No, I don't want to be smacked in the face. I have a mother, man, and I respect my mom. My mom would not. That's not becoming of the child she raised, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that would highly disappoint her, and just what she stands for. And I respect my mom, so.
And I've never gotten
women.
that from. You've always come off as someone who's very respectful and like a gentleman.
I think that's just a really bold thing to do. Like, I can't even think
yeah,
about.
I can't, dude. Because
I
you don't
just,
even know.
Really, like something in your mind was like, you know what? I like that ass, and I'm gonna grab it, and let's just see what happens.
But,
and they're gonna like, what do they
if her
think? You're
man
gonna
was-
like that, or like,
Right.
I don't like. What's the
Right.
thought process?
And what if her man was sitting down there and he's like a
Right? You
trained
said you have a
MMA
boyfriend, and you're
fighter?
like, okay, I'm still gonna grab this ass. Though.
Right.
Like
It's ridiculous.
people are.
man.
It's crazy, and
don't know.
you know, Me Too movement is good for that. You know, it's like.
It
People
puts a
need to
high-
know, like, because
Right.
there's something. There's a disconnect to where you think you can just grab someone's
It's a
anything
huge disconnect.
because you feel like it.
And if you put that like
That's assault, you know? It's like-
no, it is. But I'm saying if those assaulters should put that person's ass that they're grabbing, like put that person to be their sister or their mom.
Right, you're fighting. All of a sudden, it's a fight.
It's a fight.
You
Like,
gonna go to war.
You gonna go to work. You don't
for
want
the
nobody
same thing you do.
For the same thing you do. So it's like they're not. Something's a disconnect. Something's not connecting up here because you can't even put yourself in that shoes. So yeah, I'm happy that you guys actually.
And I'm glad that y'all expressed like how crazy that is.
It is crazy.
That's important. That's like all guys, and I don't think most guys think that way at all. So I think it's good for people to see that like other guys are like, what mentally,
What's going on?
Yeah, but they show that on movies a lot. You know, guy walks by, slaps a girl's ass, and she like makes a face or whatever, and they make it seem like it's kind of a normal thing. But like, I've never really understood that. Like, perplexing to me how
You know what
somebody
it
can
is?
think they can just
know what it
reach
is?
into that area, like your personal shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's that easy. They like easy. Because it's challenging to try to stop a woman and have a conversation with her and engage her. That's challenging. She might be a super intellectual, and you might not even be up to her level. But that's too challenging. You're probably not ready for that. And so you reach for the easiest thing, which is like that. But it's so disrespectful, and it could get you killed.
Right.
So
There's
it's
risk
a-
involved,
there's
but
risk.
it's easy.
But it's easy. It's like, okay,
Right.
just grab that ass. No. Like.
So I do a Rob Banks.
Because it's easy.
Right.
It's easier to do that than to really work hard and save your money and invest.
Read
and
some books,
right?
better
read
yourself.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been in a relationship where someone has brought their past relationships or problems into the current and it has like strained you? How have you guys handled that?
I've definitely been in those relationships. I've bought baggage to relationships. I've had like I won't get into it, but past traumas and things of that nature, where I wasn't ready for a relationship and I wouldn't listen to myself and how I was feeling, and so instead of trying to just work on me and fix me, I thought, and I also had people that I've met during these times that wanted to fix me, and they would, they'd see something wrong, they'd see that's going on, and instead of just allowing me to heal, they make it seem like they're like a savior, and like, I'll be here,
So
I'll take care of you.
You think that's wrong if someone tries to address an issue they see in you?
Not addressing the issue, but if you're not capable of being that for that person, like understanding that they're going through pain, and if they do something, that you don't attack them and like punish them for doing something because you already know that they're gonna do something because they're in pain.
Right.
And so it's like it caused years of fucked up shit.
Right.
And to this day, I'm still, I'm finally like working through it and forgiving myself, because like in those relationships, they'll make you feel horrible for the things you do to them while you're together, when you're telling them literally like, I shouldn't be here, but they'll keep you around and they'll keep loving you and giving you that thing you think you need, that thing you're missing. They're going to keep giving it to you. It's going to be artificial though, because they're not actually here for you. They're here for how you make them feel when it's good.
Right.
And when it's bad, then you're a monster.
Is it that equivalent to that show I see on is it TLC, where these people are obsessively obese, and you're watching these channels and their partner is continuously cooking that big pot for them,
Bro.
and feeding them.
That 400-pound life.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's,
And I'm
it's
like-
so crazy.
I'm like, I cannot understand. You're saying, and they're talking on TV. They're saying like, yeah, he's struggling with this problem, and they're big too. And I'm like, how do you keep feeding him with the same thing, or him or her with that same thing that's killing them? Actually, you're the killer.
Damn, that was a great
So
correlation,
right?
bro.
So I'm saying like it's similar to that, where you're with that person, they're just feeding you. They're feeding you with that poison. They're feeding that poison. It's just literally crushing you. And if you're not able to recognize that in time, you might die inside.
And the issue during the time when it was happening is that it was like one tragedy would happen back to back to back. Like over the course of 3 years, like I lost 3 people that were very important to me.
I'm sorry.
And during that time,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And so during those times, I was grasping at straws for anything, and just
Right.
like, and you know, I kept getting presented with, okay, like here's the answer, and so finally I had to just decide, like sit myself down and say, how I'm acting and how I'm reacting to things they do, no matter what they do, it's on me. And so I have to decide that I need to make a change, that I have to fix myself, because no matter what anyone does to me, I am in control of how I react.
Right.
And so and once I started doing that, once I started fixing myself, it became abundantly clear what they were doing. I was
Right.
able to see their intentions
Right,
behind the
right,
things
right.
they were doing. I was able to see how they were manipulating me and having me do certain things. And so I just started stepping back and back and back to
Right.
where I'm finally like getting to a place of freedom. And now when I'm looking for like the things we discussed in this podcast, now I see what I want. Now I see that this is, like I said, the first chapters, it brought me to this stage of my life. But now that I'm here, I understand exactly what I'm looking for going forward.
Is it safe to say that when you're going through pain, no one person can fix you? You have to fix yourself?
Oh, it's 100% you.
Okay.
And it is who you surround yourself with as well.
Right,
If
right,
the
right.
person isn't going to have your best interest in mind or be understanding, then you need to walk it alone. You need to just, like, it's going to hurt, it's going to suck, and you're going to, you know, it definitely wasn't no straight line. Like, I'd have good weeks and bad months.
Right.
But, you know, continuously not giving up on yourself is the only way you're going to get to where you want to be spiritually, so that you can go to that next level.
Right. Continuously not giving up. That's a powerful thing. And I just want to make a side note. It's amazing sometimes I look at the homeless, and I know the society looks at them like, oh, they're like the part of the lowest of scum. But you know what's amazing about the homeless people? They haven't given up on life. They haven't actually taken their own life. And I think that's a powerful thing, because they're still trying to live. And I think people overlook that a lot. And I just want to make that side note. Like, it's so important not to give up on life. Because there's always better coming, and
No, it's
just hold on to life. Just hold on to life.
It's-
Anyone
it's
that's struggling
incredibly
out there,
important.
anyone that's struggling out there, just hold on to life. Like, it's not gonna be the same forever. You know, it's not gonna be the same forever.
Right.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Ashley, you want anything to say about it?
Sorry, I think that was a little bit, yeah.
No,
that's,
no, bro. No,
That's
no,
but that's
so
a
good.
different part of baggage, you know.
Right. It's all good, man. Like, yeah, I want to hear that. You know.
Like, before I even answer, I appreciate you saying that, because what it kind of sounds like a little bit like, I coined this thing for myself. It's called like codependent narcissism, and I feel like when people are like swoop in and do that savior thing, especially if you're dating at a time where you're going through traumas, it can be good, because then it's like, okay, you have someone you can be vulnerable with, but then at the same time, if it's someone who has like malicious intent, or even if whether they realize it or not, they're seeking some sort of validation for how you're grateful for what they're doing, or how they're healing you, and
Yeah,
it's not
it
necessarily
does
what
happen.
you need,
Right.
but it's like they kind of feel better about doing that, or like taking care of you, or yeah, it's just
And probably is because of that self gratification. Like, you really can't get that healing.
And when you're in a healthy
So-
space, you can see that. If
Right.
you're not, while you're hurting, you can't really see that may be like a bad intention. But when you're in a healthy space, it's like, oh no thank you, because you can see that there's another reason this person's trying to do this for you, or it just doesn't feel genuine. They're trying to fix it their way instead of sitting there with
Right.
you and really hearing what you need and hearing like where you are. They're just trying to hurry up and fix it, and it's like that's not what you need.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna drive myself crazy, going about it your way.
And when people are going through problems, each person has their own remedy. It's not a remedy for all. There's nothing like that exists because we're all individual beings. And so when that person is trying to fix you, they're trying to use their remedy, probably what worked for them.
Facts.
And it's not necessarily the case because everyone has their own remedy and their own way of really healing. Some people go out to the mountains. Some people are like, okay, I'm just going to watch some movies and read some books.
Right.
And probably that helps them heal, just escaping in that world, watching some anime too. People watch anime and just escaping some world,
Right.
and help heal themselves. So we you're right, like trying to control it and so they can have that gratification, that validation. That's where it's wrong.
Right.
That's where some problem comes.
And I brought my baggage to relationships and had situations where people brought their baggage. It's not a good time. Because you're sitting there, you're doing something, and you're wondering why it seems like there's weird energy. For example, this is probably the best one I can use. People do things like checking phones to see, like, oh, are you entertaining these people? Or, oh, are you following up? Oh, you have blue checks in your DMs. Oh, you must be like those people more than me because they're famous. Or you're on this set or da-da-da-da-da. Mind you, nothing in my behavior or my actions is questionable. I'm 100% about you. When I'm in a relationship, I'm not doing this thing where it's like, ooh, let me holler over here. And I'm not even fazed by celebrities at all. But I could be on set with a celebrity. I have a bunch of celebrities that follow me. It's like I follow them. It's like I'm not phased at all. I don't look at celebrity as like, oh, a different type of person. So I've never been that person where it's like, oh, I'm fangirling over you. It's like, no, okay, Drake, you're very attractive, you're my type, but like my man 5,000,000%, because that's who I love. But,
right.
You get all these accusations, and then you find out, oh, this person was cheated on, or oh, this person was this. So they're holding you to the standard of something someone else did to them.
Right.
And now you can't even like live. So now you're starting to get some shame.
And you know what that does too, on the flip, for some people, it prevents the ones that have been through pain and stuff. We've all been through pain. But your partner, when that happens to them, they don't want to open up a lot to tell you how they truly feel about a situation. And because of that, it separates, it creates a divide with that intimacy.
Yeah.
With you both. Because you've been through so much pain back there, you close off. I'm trying to get to you, but you're so closed off. I'm telling you, open up, let me talk to you. But it's because of that, and they're bringing on that in the relationship. It's hard for us to generate that intimacy that we both want.
And it can be manipulative, because I remember when I'd experienced that, I'd start feeling insecure again because I'd stop interacting with people with full confidence, because I'm wondering, okay, does this person like me? I'm interacting with a guy, so I need to show the text, and I need to make sure, like, okay, making sure that this is appropriate, or I don't want him to think that I'm flirting, or like, oh, I have a coffee date. And especially in this industry, you're going to go grab coffee. Oh, damn, my co-star is attractive. Oh, this is going to be a horrible freaking time for me, because in the past, someone cheated on you for someone more attractive, and now, like, I have to be accountable for that.
Right.
So then it affects everything, and then it's like I'm changing how I dress. And then I just wasn't, like, in my power anymore. I wasn't as confident. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not a good feeling.
Wow.
And then you feel objectified. You do, because then you're accountable for how other people send things to you. I remember that there have been so many times people check my DM, and it's like someone sent something inappropriate, and men do this all the time. I can post fully clothed. They'll just send whatever. Unsolicited.
Can I smash?
Yeah, it's like,
something
damn, I just want to, like,
right.
And it's like, what are you doing to get that response? Or if, like, someone's attracted
right, you must
to
be doing
me,
something. You must be doing something to get that.
And if you in the past, which, like, I've shared, it's like, if you've had a past where you've been, like, physically objectified in a way, or, like, sexual assault, that is triggering. That is so triggering. So, I'm the type, like, if you're accusing me of something, like I'm soliciting someone sending me a dick pic, I feel like you're saying I'm a piece of meat. And that's taking me back to a time where I felt like a piece of meat. And then now I have resentment toward you, and it's just not a good...
Which brings me to another question. Do you feel women can sexually abuse men?
Absolutely.
Like, because it's always the opposite. in our current world where it's like men are always the abusers. And they've done several like social experiments with women grabbing some guys, just grabbing it, and just it's an immediate laugh. Oh my god! And it's like it's never necessarily considered to be offensive. Do you believe like a lot of men are out there being sexually abused by women? That's an actual thing.
I think that it is a thing, and I
Okay.
don't think those women don't need to be off the hook. I mean, you've seen several times, oh, this teacher going to jail dealing with this student, or a woman who does that, she should be under the same repercussions as a man
Oh.
and consequences. I just think it's less
That's a part of the
because-
equality as well.
Huh?
That's a part of the equality.
That is equality, right?
Right.
That
It is, right?
equality, and it should
Right,
be.
right,
I just
right,
think
right.
it is botched because, like, some people try to make it the same because they don't want to take the accountability. Like, it doesn't look good that men are the majority of like abusers in that
Abusers,
situation. So they're like,
right.
when a woman does this too, it's like, it's equal. I'm like, no, let's acknowledge the women, but the physical advantage of y'all being men, which I'm telling you, it's my strength has nothing compared to y'all. I'm not saying there aren't strong women, but just because y'all are the more like dominant, testosterone driven,
Yeah.
you're in a physical position where if,
You can easily
yeah,
dominate and take over a woman
right,
because she's not so physical
right.
in a sense, and if she doesn't have some type of self-defense stunt gun or some weapon, it's gonna be even easier.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, women who do that, that's trash.
Yeah.
That's trash.
Okay. So no grabbing of the butts out
I
there,
would
ladies.
never.
No smacking.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. And I don't know. I'm a good-looking man, and when I go out and if there's alcohol involved, I've had women do anything you could think of.
He laughing.
And
What you said. Go.
But a lot of times I felt like I've actually it's a funny thing because when it happened, I didn't really know how to. So I went out with somebody. This was like
Last
4 or
week.
5 years ago.
Okay.
I was drinking with them. It was a friend of mine, and I only had a little bit to drink, and then I woke up like an hour later, like I had completely blacked out, and when I woke up, they were on top of me, and I couldn't process what had happened. While it was happening, like I didn't, I kind of, I wasn't into it, and I was like my mind, like a man's mind, I triggered like, oh, I need to finish this thing. Like I thought, like in my mind, I thought I had started something.
Right.
Because there's no way, right?
Right. She couldn't overpower me and and put me in.
And like there's something I wanted, obviously, because I'm
Obviously.
right. But the next day, her roommate at the time had told me, like, hey, I don't know if you know what happened, but you were asleep when she did that, and I'd come to find out she had actually put like a Xanny inside of my drink, and so like the next day, like I didn't even realize, like, okay, so and like what do you say? I didn't say anything to anyone. I just kind of let it go because like as a man, it's like.
Do you think you would have felt embarrassed if you told people that?
Not
Or
even.
you told people that you felt a way about that?
And not even embarrassed. It was just like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to respond in that situation. Like I just kind of stopped talking to her, and it was like this, but I didn't really know how to address like your friend like doing something like that. And I think it was more so because it was a friend of mine. So it was someone I trusted,
Right.
and it was like you just saw an opportunity, and you just did that. So it was more like it hurt me as a friend than like the sexual part of it. But it's like I guess what I'm trying to say is like when it happens to men, like you said, the laugh, a lot of times the laugh, like it's something that you're expected to do.
Right.
And so I think men handle sexual assault as what's expected of them when it happens.
Right.
What's been shown on TV. Well, we want it all. We want everything that comes at us, and so if it happens, we wanted it. And
We
so
wanted
it's
it.
a joke.
Right.
But yeah,
And there's
sorry
a
that
little bit of
happened to
that's
drug rape. Like that is straight up drug rape. There's no way around it.
And she could have come off and like, I'm pregnant.
Oh,
Like, we're not even gonna go to.
I'm just gonna ask you guys
Okay,
one
okay.
last question so we can wrap this up. Oh man, this is like an interesting conversation. I think we should go like an extra hour.
Yeah, I think
but-
I'm going a little too far.
Hey,
My bad.
No. But guys, what's your last thoughts or advice you would give to like people out there, you know, trying to date and trying to find like someone suitable for themselves? Like, what advice would you give to someone out there, based on things you have learned from your past mistakes? And
I mean, I can say,
yeah,
like, as if this interview has shed anything, is that I've been through a lot of things. I've been, I've been a bad boyfriend. I've been a good boyfriend. I've had things happen that changed me and changed my relationships with people. And I've lost so many people that trusted. So many people have walked out of my life
right.
for whatever reason or passed away. And it's affected me tremendously.
Mhm.
And I can say that through all of it, I am still absolutely in love with the idea of love.
Damn.
I am absolutely still fighting and still looking forward to finding that person that I'm meant to be with. And I'm willing to make myself better and help them if they want my help to become better, whatever needs to be done, because I've felt love, I've felt that even if it was a fleeting moment, and I know that feeling is worth fighting for.
Right. That's dope. That's dope. Ash.
you gotta. This was
Yeah,
snatched to
that's
person.
dope. That's
beautiful.
dope. That's
That's
dope.
so
That's
beautiful.
dope. Yeah.
Ooh. No, that was a very beautiful sentiment.
Does that reassure your confidence in men?
Oh, I have great
I'm just-
confidence in men.
I'm just joking.
Like I don't think I've said, but in my like love life, I'm in my like later 20s right now. I've always been in a relationship. I've been that person. I'm in long-term relationships, and then recently, I would say the past 3 months is like my first time truly like open dating.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, I'm entertaining, going on dates with multiple people, and that's taught me a lot. Being in long-term relationships has taught me a lot, and for sure, the one thing I know is that I do love love. Like, I love being with my one person. I love that spark. I do believe, that I could be with them forever, have a family with them.
Right.
And the best advice that I could give to anyone out there, because, with Derek Jackson and everything, nobody wants to be a relationship guru or give advice. But really be honest with yourself, with where you stand. And when you're looking for someone, look for what's complimentary. Like, social media is the worst place to go for any relationship advice, because there's a think piece that justifies any way of being. If you're a narcissist, you can go find like very thought-provoking think pieces that promote your ways and make it sound like it's a healthy boundary. If you're a codependent, someone makes that victimhood sound great. It's like, know your truth, know what triggers you, know what you bring to the table, and that's so tough. Know who you are for yourself before you go trying to date someone else.
Right.
Because that's where it seems like a lot of the disconnect is. Online, half of the people with grievances about how men are, how women are, these are people who are hearing a lot of noise and then regurgitating things that aren't their reality. Like, oh, all men are trash. And I'm like, I'll look at a situation, I'm like, and I don't have friends like this, by the way. I don't have any like female friend that believes, who's like, oh, on the all men are trash or niggas ain't shit train, because you would be the dumpster if you know, law of attraction is very real. I do not, I believe anyone who thinks the whole demographic's trash, it does say a lot about you. But just know where you stand and try to heal first. Try to heal first.
Right. Definitely. That's dope. For me, I would say, always be truthful and forthcoming in a relationship about how you feel about situations and instances. That is key. I would say when things get tough, try your best to work them out. And if your partner keeps repeating those mistakes, you better run, because they're not about to stop anytime soon, and they constantly do it. They're just showing you they have no respect for you, and respect is where everything starts. Like, once that person has respect for you, like, you can go far. You can go far. And, and don't be in relationships that are abusive and mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally. None of that. None of that. You know, and spiritual connection. Like I talk about it so much. Like feel that. Trust your instincts. Like there's something about the vibe. You would have sensed it initially before even getting that relationship about this person. Trust that. Trust that. That's like God talking to you. Like don't do it. Don't do it now. I'm telling you, that's like 10 years of pain, and I'm telling you, don't do it. And he leaves that in us, that instinct and that sensor to sense people out. And you talked about that too. Like you have a good vibe, you attract people, and you know there's something about that. So I would say trust that. And you know you might be anyone that's alone out there and looking for somebody. Like be patient. Like it's coming. Like don't hunt it down sometimes. Like just love yourself. Take this time to love yourself. Pretty much. That's what it's all about. And I think within that, you loving yourself, enjoying yourself in life, and working on all the kinks within you, like you'll attract that energy that you really need in your life. Pretty much that's it.
Well said.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, those were the closing remarks, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for coming, and I'll post the things that you guys do for you. Actually, I'll post your business there so people can go and get some business with whatever you do, out there. And EMT, right. So I'll definitely post your thing as well. Yeah. So thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate this talk, and hopefully we can have a part 2 or part 3 of this thing. That'd be cool.
Sounds good.
All right, cool.
For shizzle.
Yeah.